Gino played together, and I know you thought highly of him there. But what's it like just to kind of see him where he is now, and watch him on film and all that stuff now?
He's had a phenomenal career. I guess he's going in year 8 or year 9, and being in a not for long league. Anybody that's put together a career that type of tenure, it speaks for itself. Definitely going to be a challenge for us. He's doing a great job in what he's doing for that in that system, and he's been in it for a minute. You know, all the talent is there. I remember the plays he was able to make for us when we were in New York, and so I definitely know he's going to step into the game with a chip on his shoulder. And, you know, it's even easier on a quarterback when you have the type of weapons that he's throwing to, and those guys, and the type of protection that the line can do. They got a lot of weapons over there, so it's going to be a challenge for us. We're going to have our hands full.
Do you see a lot of big differences in Gino then and now, or is he kind of the same guy? Or
oh no, I mean a ton. You know, I mean, there's many years in the game. He was a young player. I saw him from the time he was drafted. You know, and so all the things he knows, he's learned over those years are showing. Like I said, the talent has always been there. His arm strength, his mobility in the pocket. But now you can just see his decision making, the throws he's making inside and outside the pocket, the time he's getting the ball out. He's just doing a lot of things well, and you know, they're fortunate to have a guy that's a number 2 guy that can come in and play like a starter. So when you have that type of setup, it bodes well for your team, and for us, it presents a great challenge.
So whether it's hurricane stuff or injuries or whatever, Sean is big on no one cares. No one cares about if we've got half the team hurt, we still have to show up and play. So how big of a role does Sean play with that mindset of, you know, adversity happens, but we still have to keep going?
Well, I think that's part of the game. You know, you're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. You know, no matter what's going on around you. One of the quotes DA always says is, you know, half the people don't care about your problem and the rest of them are glad that you got them. You know, and so you have to have that mentality that, you know, it's just us, and that's what we always have to be focused on. How can we be better? How can we get better every single day? And when the game comes, we can go out and put the best product on the field. And so, and each and every week, you know, continue to perfect your process and get better and better, so that you can make the climb and be where you want to be towards the end of the year. And ever since I've been here, that's been the mindset of the culture, and Sean, you know, plays a great job in leading us in that mindset and making sure that everyone in the building has that mentality. And I mean, that's just what you adopt, you know, as a Saint.
Hey, Demario, Sean has a really good record after the bye. Is that something that he does, you think, that kind of like helps his team just reset like it does? I mean, he's like, I think he's 18-2 over the first 4 games after a bye over the past 5 years. But what is it about the bye you think that Sean does well, that as far as getting you all ready to get back going?
I think it's a multitude of things. Sean does a good job. He's been around the game for a long time. He's seen almost everything you can see that this game is going to present to you, whether it's the field, whether it's, you know, traveling to the West Coast, whether it's you know, different things that teams are going to throw at you. He just does a good job of making sure that we're prepared for any and all of those situations. Then speaking to what was said earlier, he created a good culture. You know, we have a lot of veterans who know how to prepare, you know, prior to a bye, after a bye, and you know, and creating that winning culture that no matter what the situation is, whether it's, you know, every game is just the next one on your schedule, and you go in and you expect to win. So I think he's just done a great job of creating that culture, kind of making sure that culture is perpetual. So it's a lot that kind of goes into it, and hopefully it continues to go well for us.
Not saying that any or all of them, whether that's Quan or Marcus Davenport or Ken, or I can keep going, will be back this week, but how good does it feel knowing that, you know, 7 of the guys on injured reserve are working their way back?
I mean, we got to roll what we got. You know, we have a very good locker room with a lot of talented players, first string, second string, offense, defense, special teams. And so every time that we step out there, no matter who it is, we just trying to put the best product on the field. And we know we like our chances when we step out there.
Are we making too big of a deal when it comes to the number of sacks and the lack of pressure? We've been asking Cam that the last couple of weeks, or is it something we're not seeing that you guys are actually doing when it doesn't show up on a stat sheet?
Yeah, I think we've been highly effective in our pressure rates, and that's really what our mindset is affect the quarterback, and that has boded well for us, you know, in years when we've had a ton of sacks, and we're doing that, you know, and across the board we're getting pressure on the quarterback. Now they may still get the ball out, it may not end up on the ground, but eventually they're going to try to pat it and hold it a little bit longer and not be able to throw that ball, and we're going to be in position to get them to the ground. And that's why we've always finished around the top of the league in that category, is because, you know, we have a good game plan. We got players who can execute that game plan at a high level, and we'll continue to do that. And so, yeah, we don't get as hyped up in the number of sacks, you know, because we understand it's a lot more that goes into it than just the number of sacks, right? It's actually to get a good pressure on the quarterback, and we've been doing that. But our standard is just high. You know, we want to be first in every category, and so not only do we want to be up there in pressures, we eventually want to be up there in sacks too. And so we're gonna keep chasing, you know. But we ain't you know bogged down about, you know what I mean, the sacks not being there like they normally are, or anything like that, because we're affecting the quarterback at a high rate.
As a defensive player going into a place like Seattle where the weather is what it is, man, it's always kind of feels like it's always raining, it's windy, it's a little bit cold. As a defensive player, do you guys kind of like that, playing in those type of football games? I
mean, I do. Anywhere it's not crazy hot, I'm happy. You know, I sweat a lot, so as long as the temperature is down and not, you know, super crazy, which we had a couple early on, so I had to prepare for those. But anytime the weather's down, I'm happy. You know, so it don't matter the environment. You got to come ready to play when you step inside those lines. You know, we're trying to create as much fear, havoc, and inflict as much pain as possible. That's, you know, and defend every blade of grass in the process. That's just our mentality on defense, and we want to continue to do that.
How have you seen Pete Werner kind of come into his own over, you know, training camp and now the first 5 games of the season? Phenomenal.
That's the way he's played here as a rookie has just been phenomenal, and literally he's shown that the sky is the limit for him, you know, and so it's just going to be all about his continued progression. But he is playing, you know, light years ahead of where you expect a rookie to play. I mean, his athletic ability, his closing speed, his tenacity on his tackles, his instincts, his smarts. I mean, it all speaks for itself. I mean, just turn the tape on, you're going to see him. And so he's played absolutely phenomenal, and just excited to see him continue to grow as a player.
I have a non-football question.
Okay.
Unless yours is football related. Where did the name Stormy come from?
My oldest daughter actually named our girl. So my wife and I, we always wanted 6 kids, or early on we wanted 6 kids, and so we named 3 girls and 3 boys before we even had children. And so when the 4th girl, we didn't really have a name, and so our oldest is Bailey Grace, our 2nd is Summer Joy, our 3rd is Carly Faith. All our kids have double names, and so we were looking for another biblical attribute or something. So we knew it was going to be Love something, but we didn't have a first name. And my oldest daughter ended up coming out saying one day, we should name her Stormy Love. My wife liked it, my mom liked it, my mother-in-law liked it, and so there it was.
How interesting is it? It came during the hurricane.
Then it came during the storm. And then it came to the storm, you know, and so we hope it's a calm storm.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
It's scary.
95 every year, but this is Brickyard. I found it at a store when I was visiting my brother in Bloomington. They had some select store and it had a bunch of throwback shirts, so I thought it was pretty cool. So I was like, thought it was nice, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Didn't know if you were a huge NASCAR guy like Alvin. So.
Oh no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Not at all. Can't sit around and watch cars go in a circle, but I'm good. Yeah.
Pete, coming off the bye, just kind of your self-evaluation of the first quarter of the season, how you played.
Yeah, I think again, like I said last week, it's a good start. Keep stepping in the right direction. I'm just happy to be put in these situations to execute and be that guy to step up and play when they need me to play.
Is that going to be kind of your mentality with Quan coming back? I'm assuming that there's going to be some blending of you guys on the field. Just kind of take it how it comes.
Yeah, well, it's going to be same mindset. I'm happy to see Quan out there on the practice field with us. He's a guy that compliments everybody, brings the juice, always being a juice boy. So it's good to have him out there. And again, we're just ready to play Seattle, ready to head down there. But again, he's a guy that compliments everybody. So we're excited to have him back.
It's kind of when you're looking at all this stuff the team had to kind of go through this first five weeks of the season. What do you think is kind of the thing that kind of kept you all together, and not just thinking with the injuries or the hurricane or whatever?
Right. I just think that we have such strong leadership as a defense, and because we're so tight as a unit, you can throw anything in our way, and we're going to try to find a way to overcome it. We've been faced with adversity many times this year, and as you see, we've overcome that. So we're going to continue to have that mindset, and because of that strong leadership by the older guys, Demario, Cam, those guys, we can overcome anything. So I think that's kind of the thing that's kept us together along this way.
I don't know if you have a point of comparison, but does that make it easier to come in as a rookie when you do have that leadership and that kind of structure already in place?
Of course, that's one thing as a rookie is you want to come into a great organization, and I can kind of wish for anything better than coming into an organization like this that they've established a long time ago. So I just got to play my part and continue to execute what the leaders ask for. And again, great coming into an organization like this.
Some of that is some of that also like Sean though.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
yeah,
I mean, he's kind of the tone setter, right?
Right.
And, like when you guys are going through something like that, is he like? He likes to kind of play it off and say there's like no kumbaya moments or whatever, whatever his line is. But does he like kind of gather you guys all and such?
He's the head of everything.
Yeah.
He does a great job, kind of developing the culture. But then again, it's on the players, the leaders of this team. They're going to be the ones out there playing on the field with you, not the coaches. They just kind of tell you the game plan, but we got to execute as a team. So we really put high emphasis on the leadership, and they kind of guide and pave that path for us.
And Demario, just a few minutes ago, said that you've been playing outstanding and you've been doing a really good job, and the sky's the limit. It was very complimentary of you. What does that mean to you when you hear a guy like Demario speaking about you like that?
Oh, that means a lot. That's unbelievable, considering that he's kind of the guy that everybody looks up to, and he's one of the biggest leaders of this defense. Have him say something like that means a lot. But again, coming with that, there's always a job to do for every single player, and I just got to continue to execute and do what's asked for me, and hopefully those kind words will continue to grow.
Now, Pete, when you say you couldn't ask for a better organization, but that's the only NFL team you've been to. So, I mean, does it seem like just a natural evolution from Ohio State, or an extension from?
I guess I'm just so thankful to be here. It's thankful. I'm thankful to go out here and play the game that I love, and I haven't been anywhere else. But when I have strong leaderships like this, and I'm having a great time doing it, the organization seems great to me. So I'm going to continue to put it on a pedestal and go from there.
You basically played for an NFL team from college.
That's right. I did come from a great organization, and there's a lot of carryover there. But yeah, definitely thankful still to be a Buckeye. Well, thank you guys.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pete.
Those mouths don't get fed. We had a good relationship with AOK Capital, who's in Alan Pace, who's the chairman of Burnley now, and they American group who just acquired a team recently. We've done some other business with them, and simply just asked, like, hey, is there any room in this deal? And they saw value in my team to help with some of the advertising and branding here in the States. Same way that the NFL is expanding to the UK. They're trying to do the same thing for the Premier League and its players and teams. So they found value in myself and my team of folks to add to the ownership piece.
You a big soccer guy?
I am now. I've grown up, I played as a track athlete in American football my entire life. But obviously sports is something I know very, very well. And so it's definitely a new venture for me, but sports is sports. And I know how to build brands. And obviously have done a decent job with my own personal brand and the businesses. So it was something that I thought fit well into our portfolio.
Get a lot of Ted Lasso jokes.
A lot of them, yeah. That's nonstop. Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not going to coach. That's not what's happening. But it's all good.
You're like Rebecca then.
Yeah, right. Nobody knows what I do. I'm just there.
Hey, Malcolm, Sean's done a really good job after the bye, it seems like. Is that something that he does differently than maybe some of the other teams you play with as far as how they handle the bye?
Well, I think he trusts his players a lot because he usually gives us the entire week off, allows us to step away from the game, get our minds and bodies back. But when we come back, he's good at getting us right back into the routine, keeping us focused on the here and now. And so far this week, I think it's probably the sharpest practices we've had really to date. So he just does a great job of, it's a culture that he's built, and he sticks to the things that he knows. It's been working for, some seasons now. It's just how he runs his program.
Is it a lot different from how it was in Philly as far as the whole week off or whatever?
No, they would give us a lot of days off, maybe not the whole week, but, I think every team is different. Every organization has different philosophies, and in teams, when they change head coaches, sometimes they change culture, change philosophy. So, but obviously Sean, being here as long as he has, he believes in having the success he's had. He believes in his formula.
Malcolm, this defense obviously was not waiting for everyone to come back healthy to start establishing an identity, but how much untapped potential is there still for this unit?
Well, I think, we've been in a race to improve, every game. And I think even though we can look at rankings and feel like, okay, we're at a solid place, I think we felt like we probably underperformed so far this season, haven't been as consistent as we wanted to be. And so adding players that are quality players back from, injury or whatever it is always makes you better, adds more depth. So we're excited for another opportunity to compete, for another opportunity to get better, whoever that is on the field.
Specifically, getting some of those pass rushers back, how does it help you guys in the secondary, especially like David coming back?
We talk about the epitome of team defense is pass coverage, and because you have to have a rush on the passer and you got to have coverage. Both of those things coincide. You can't cover, then you oftentimes can't get to the quarterback. If you can't get to the quarterback, then you cover him way too long. And for us, we'll be able to see immediately what that those players being inserted into the lineup, what that does for our defense.
Kind of going back to the culture stuff, how big a role does Sean play in you guys being able to rebound from the hurricane thing and from missing as many players as you had this year, missing Drew last year, all that sort of stuff?
I think he does a great job of also putting the onus on the leadership and players and making sure that we also curate the culture.
Yeah.
And so he makes decisions. We go to Dallas and he's like, we're going to focus on what we can control, and that is carried out by the captains on the team, which is followed by every other leader, every position. And then all of a sudden it's not abnormal because you look at your leader, he's not flinching. You look at the other captains, they don't seem like they're bothered by it. So nobody trips. We just focus on what we can control, which is our preparation, how we compete week in and week out, whether it's in Dallas, whether it's here, whether we got to go on the road. Nobody cares at the end of the day. All right? It's all about how we perform on Sundays, And so when we keep the main things the main thing, it kind of makes it a lot easier to block out those distractions and not allow yourself to make excuses for failure.
It also allows you to take ownership of it too, right? 'Cause it's not just like, okay, it's my way, we're getting it done my way,
Right.
get through it my way.
It's our way. I mean, everybody feels like their role has something to do with our success as a team. It's not just, coach is not playing Madden, with a bunch of robots. It's a collective effort, and he listens, to the captains with what the players need. And I think that relationship just makes everything a lot easier when you talk about dealing with adversity.
Sure.
Cool.
Thanks, Mike.
No problem. Not one Ted Lasso.
But you know, those small details and that time just that he takes to kind of run us through things and explain and pause when we need to pause and get done what we need to get done. I mean, it makes all the difference.
Especially when the field's like shrunk, right?
Yeah, exactly. In the red zone, that's when everything is magnified. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The mistakes are magnified. I mean, it's points. You playing with points. It's either you get 3 or you get 7. So I mean, it's a 4-point swing any way you take it.
Going back to that from your rookie season, what do you remember about the first time Sean was moving people around and this attention to detail?
I didn't know what was going on. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know what was going on. I was just trying to fall in line. I remember it was me and Ted Ginn. We came in at the same time, so we were just trying to figure it out. Everything was moving so fast, and I'll never forget B. Cole and Mark and Willie. They was just pushing us which way to go. We'll call a formation and B. Cole. Sometimes I know I'm going with B. Cole, or me and Ted know we're going opposite from each other, so we'll pull each other in. It's kind of direct traffic. But I mean, just throughout that year, I kind of got to understand why. Sometimes you'll see something happen and you don't know why, so you just think it's a waste of time. You're like, man, what is he doing? That's how I used to feel early in the season with Sean. But then you got to game 5, 6, 7, 10, and I'm like, dang, this dude is a mastermind. Everything he's doing is for a reason. Because that's my biggest thing. I hate wasting time. I hate wasting time. So once you realize the why and the what, the why, when, it's crazy. To see everything come full circle.
I mean, you kind of talked about it when you guys were in Dallas. That Sean loved that atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at what the team's done without Drew the last couple of years. What the team's done without all the guys on IR this year. Seems like that sort of stuff, that adversity just does bring out the best in him. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think he proving people wrong.
Yeah.
He loves that. He likes that aha moment where it's oh, they said this, but aha, we proved them wrong. I mean, I don't think it's not for anybody. It's not for anybody other than himself and us. He'll come up to me and be like, "I told you," and I'm like, "Well, I'm on your side. We're in this together." But I think he likes that. But I mean, it's just somebody. He's super competitive, and he's challenging everybody around him every day. He's challenging himself every day, and I think if it's as good as he does or as bad as he does, I think he's the hardest critic on himself than anybody. He don't care about the media. He don't care about anything. I think he grades himself harder than anyone ever could grade him ever.
One of the things Malcolm was saying about it, Malcolm Jenkins was saying about it, is there's a sense of ownership with the team with it too, though.
Yeah.
And that he trusts his leaders to go out and actually kind of establish the culture that he wants.
Oh yeah. I think, and that's why I don't think there's never a panic in our facility. I think because I like you said, the leaders, we all kind of get the message. We know what Sean wants. We know what it's supposed to look like. So it's never a time where Sean has to just blow up and go crazy and I guess try to get a reaction out of us. We know what it's supposed to be. And it's sometimes it's just subtle things hey, yo, we gotta, this is not right. We know you don't know how it's supposed to look, and we kind of everybody else just fall in line. But from the top to the bottom, I mean, we kind of it's like an accountability thing. It's some certain things don't fly. It's certain things you can do with your mom that you can't do with your dad. I think that's across the board. The guys that are coming in, the free agents or the younger guys, whoever it is, the guys at the top that have been here, that's your dad. It's no, you can't. You can't do that around them. So, I mean, I don't think it's ever a time where we panic. Like I said, everybody just kind of falls in line and knows what the standard is.
Did you like the duo setup, or do you you're 85% of the snaps this year? Before it's kind of you and someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like the setup better than
Yeah, I'm cool. It don't really make a difference to me. I mean, maybe a couple extra minutes soaking in Epsom salt or something, but I mean, it's all good. I think every game has a life of its own. So I mean, as the season goes on, the flows will kind of switch up, and maybe it might be a game where my percentage of snaps is down or higher even. I don't know, but I'm cool, and I'm just with my number called. I'm in there doing what I got to do.
You join Malcolm in the Premier League ownership anytime soon?
Am I joining?
Yeah, you gonna get your own like?
Oh man, I don't know. They doing a lot with that. I think Mark, and who else? Some other people. I forgot who else I saw. I forgot, but I don't know. I'm tied up right now.
Lots of time with NASCAR and juice.
Yeah, just NASCAR, juice, all type of stuff.
Yeah, how tough is that crowd in Seattle?
Man, who was talking about it? Me and Teron were talking about it at practice, and he was like, "You played there when it was full?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro, we played there 2 years ago." He was like, "Oh yeah, no, it was crazy because that was the week after Drew got hurt, and then Teddy was in there, so I think we was getting to the line, and it was like 5 seconds left on the clock, and we had to burn some timeouts and kind of settle down and get our cadence right and get our timing right. But it's a loud place. It's definitely a football environment, to say the least. So, we got to be on point with, getting to the huddle, getting the calls in, and executing our job.
James was talking about like football weather the other day. Do you like playing in like 40, 50 degree weather? Or you prefer to be?
It's cool. I don't like rain.
Yeah.
If it's 40 to 50 and dry, I'm cool. But I mean, it's a outdoor stadium, so you got to deal with the elements, whatever it is. We got to deal with it. But it is definitely football weather. I think that's like a Southern thing.
Yeah.
I think because you talk to dudes on the West Coast, they always got perfect weather. And then up north, it's like it's either nice or shitty, like it's snowing. But like the South, it's like, all right, you get summer and then you get that kind of, it's getting fall, you feel it, and then get cold on the back end. But it's Jameis, I agree with him. We got like football weather coming.
The rain, does it force you to approach the game differently, like your game plan or how you handle things or anything like that?
I don't think it affects the game plan, but I think there's just a heightened sense of awareness on ball security and I'm returning punts and things like that, so it's just a little bit more focus on securing the ball, securing catches, and then if it really gets wet, then you go. Sean talks about visors, and then you kind of switch up for weather gloves and stuff like that, but it don't really affect game plan. Like we're not in the team meeting room like, yeah, we can't run this play because it's raining. Like, it is what it is. We get paid a lot of money to execute.
It's artificial turf there, though.
Yeah, it's artificial turf.
Otherwise, Sean would be talking about.
Sean will probably still be talking about footing. That's his thing. Anytime we get a chance to talk about feet, he gonna talk about it, and then he gonna try to promise us like pedicures or something. I don't know.
Is that the toughest stadium you play in?
I ain't gonna lie. Like, I think the only time it really affects me is obviously if we get to the line and we got to burn the timeout. That's when I realize like, oh dang, it's loud, it's super loud. But I think before kickoff, that's really when I hear the crowd and realize the crowd, and then like touchdowns or like scores or change in field position or something like that. I mean, change in possession. Other than that, I'm kind of like zoned in. Crowd noise don't really affect me. But it's I think if we ranking it out of the stadiums in the league, it's probably there and like Minnesota. Loud, like we got great atmosphere. Not counting us, obviously, but yeah, they're in Minnesota.
How excited do you get about this final on Monday night? When everybody in the country's watching.
It's another day for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Monday Night Football, when you coming up, it's like it's a big thing. But now I'm here. It's a work day. It's another opportunity, another game. Matter of fact, I don't like Monday night because then we got to turn around and play on Sunday. It's a short week, so yeah, I don't like Sunday night. I'm happy you asked that. I mean Monday night. You lose a day.
It's been a long year. It's all good.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Only one home game. Yeah.
You got to balance it out, and you got to find some balance.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yep.
You got an extra day in the bye week though.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
Yeah. I don't know.